to the Paleography mentoring session for the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, found at genealogicalstudies.com. And I'm Cheryl Levy. And tonight, we're going to be discussing one of the topics that is found in our Paleography course. And our course has a lot of topics. It's not just about learning how to read the handwriting, the letters, how to transcribe, all of those things. It'll touch on that in the first module, but then it's going to go into what you find in those records and how to interpret Roman numerals, currency, spelling, calendars, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, weights and measures, church and social life, surnames, occupations, lots of information in this course. It's 8 modules, and it is packed with lots of information that is really, really going to help you in researching historical documents. Okay, and the Paleography course is part of our methodology. It is one of the compulsories. It's in the advanced level. And here's the other courses that are compulsory for the methodology program, which is the basic foundation of most of our certificates at the Institute. If you're going for your PLCGS, then you're going to want to take these, and Paleography is definitely one of those compulsory courses. And then at the end of each section, basic, intermediate, and advanced, we have what we call analysis and skills mentoring. And those courses will do an overview of each level. And that's part of our certificate program. But one of the things I want to highlight, because not everybody knows, is that we added a course to the methodology program, which is Latin for genealogists. And it is a prerequisite now for the Paleography course. And so there is a module, a couple of modules that deal with Latin terms. And I know it is one of the topics that I struggled the most with when I was doing the Paleography course. And so the Latin course has been developed as a prerequisite to just explain some of the terminology and the records that you're going to find. And it is now compulsory for the intermediate level and a prerequisite for the Paleography course. And you can find information about that on our website for the Paleography course. And you can also order printed notes. If you're someone like me that likes to have my notes printed and in a binder, you can order those. But the course itself has a PDF that you can just download to your computer and has all of that information in it. Now, along with that, we have developed a textbook for this course, which will become compulsory in January. So right now, you can order it and from our store, and you can have it to be ready if you're ready to take the Latin course. And it is also available on Amazon. So I live in Canada and we've been having some postal strikes. And so shipping is a little bit challenging at times. And so if you're in a location that is really high, shipping from the states where the school is situated, that you can order it through Amazon or other places, or you can order it through our store as a PDF download. And so, but if you want to do a physical copy, it may be cheaper to check Amazon. But definitely check it out on our store. And our store is called genealogystore.com, and you can find it on there. And you can also find our course catalog. And that, of course, you can download for free. And it will show you all of our programs and our courses in our latest catalog. And it is holiday season, this being December. And so I'm putting a little plug in for gift cards. And so if you have someone who wants to buy you a gift card, suggest to have them purchase one of the gift cards through the Institute at the store, and they will be investing in your genealogical education. And that is an investment for your family. That's an investment in preserving their family history. So that's just a suggestion. Okay, so the paleography course itself in module 4 talks about calendars, dating, and how it was used in civil records. And the thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is the calendar change. And so in genealogy, we need to understand the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar. Gregorian calendar. That's a mouthful. And the Julian was introduced by Julius Caesar in 45 BC. And so that is a long time ago. And that was used for many, many years. And then it, it got out of sync with the days. And then the Gregorian calendar was brought in by Pope Gregory the 8th in 1582. So that's the key year that you want to remember. And that it was gradually getting out of sync. And so what they had to do is they put in the leap year. So every 4 years, there is an extra day on the calendar to bring it back into sync. And so, depending on when the country that you're researching in adopted the Gregorian calendar, is how many days difference there is in there. And what they did is to adjust it, they lost those days. And so you need to look at the chart, and I'm going to show you a couple examples to see how to calculate and to see when it changed. And if you're dealing with different countries, it's going to make a difference. And so this was just a quick image that I found, but I also found this, and this I found was really useful. This is a map, and I tried really hard to find the source of this, and all I could find, because I found it on Google Images, but I found lots of places that people were using this image, but I could not find an origin. And so I don't have a source for that, but just go into Google Images and put in Gregorian calendar adoption dates and the map, and it should come up. So this is a cool map because it shows when the different countries adopted the Gregorian calendar and put it into practice. And it's just a quick reference. I think it would be good to have when you're doing research between countries to know when your country changed to that calendar. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to go and go to a website. So just hang on. Okay, so the first place that I went to was, and I probably should do this one first, just hang on. Okay, so the Julian calendar, which was brought in by Julius Caesar, so it's very old. This web page, which is by Stephen P. Morse, really has a good introduction. And what I like about this page, and it's just called the Julian calendar and why you should know about it. Right at the top, you can click this little button and it gives you, when you click it, it gives it to you as a PDF and you can just download it. And so then you will have it on your computer and you don't have to worry about bookmarking it. Everything will be right in that. And this article was appeared in the Association of Professional Genealogists Quarterly in March 2014. So if you look on here, it's just going to give you lots of information why they had to do that, how many days in the months, all kinds of information like that, why they brought in the leap year, a little calendar that showed how they calculate that, and then why the Pope brought it in. And so this is just an information page, and we'll give you lots of information, a little bit about double dating, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and all of the information in there. And so that is a good website. But I went to the Family Search Wiki, and that is the main place that I like to go to find information. And they have a page. So in the Family Search Wiki, so for the wiki, you sign into Family Search, you click search, then you click the research wiki. And then when you click that, you can put a topic in, and then it will show you pages. And this one is on the calendars and the differences between the two. And so it gives what I really liked, besides the map, is a chart. And so this chart has the countries alphabetically, and it will tell you what year it started in that country. And so you can go through and look, even in Germany, because Germany, in times past was a lot of provinces together. It wasn't one country like it is now. And so the different provinces, the different rulers in those provinces made the decision to follow and switch over to the new calendar like everybody else was doing at different times. And so it's going to give you, even in the different parts of Germany, you're going to want to know when exactly it changed over so that you can do the calculations for the dates. And so it's just alphabetical. And so that was a very useful chart. The Family Search Wiki always has such good information. But when you're on the Family Search Wiki or Wikipedia or any kind of a page like that, always scroll to the bottom and look for the references, because here you're going to find places that you can research further. This is the reform of the Julian calendar. This is, search of ancestors, using it. So it always has lots of different things in the references that you can follow up and find out more information about it. But I did go to Wikipedia and I looked at the Gregorian calendar, and it gave me a lot of background about why it changed, what it's all about, how many days in the months, all about why he changed it. So lots of background and how they went about changing it, because it's changing the calendar for the whole world. And so, in shipping and all of those kind of stuff, you're going to want to all be following the same calendar. And so the different places, the King of Spain and Portugal, and it took a while for everybody to adopt this new calendar. And so the Wikipedia, again, has a list, and this one, instead of being alphabetical, is chronological. And so it gives another chart for when those changed. But the one on the Family Search Wiki is a lot more detailed than this one. And so check both of them and see what you find. But it's going to give you the ranges of the dates of when it was used and how many days they lost to catch up for the days that it was off, that now we have the leap year every 4 years that keeps us on track. And so, again, it's going to give you different places and when they adopted it. And then for the places that, if they didn't change it yet, they have something called double dating or dual dating. And so on here, there's a old style and a new style, so you have to look at that and how it was used in different countries. But there is a link here where you can go and read another article about how to use double dating. But basically, it's written like this: February um, the 10th or the 21st in 1750 or 51, depending on which calendar you're looking at for the day that they went or that event happened. And so it just has lots of information, has information about the months, the weeks, then this wonderful chart about leap shifting, and it just has a lot of information. And again, there's notes at the bottom, citations for where they got that information if you want to read further on it, and just lots of information on that page. So the Wikipedia page for the Gregorian calendar is a good place to look and get information. And they even have a little chart here at the top that shows you other calendars that were being used in other countries at the same time as the Gregorian calendar was in use. Okay, so I am going to just close a couple of these tabs and go to this one. So on the Family Search Wiki, and I'm at the bottom, you can, at the top, you can put a topic in there. And so I put the topic in calendars and, dates and calendars. And by doing this, there it will give me a lot of pages that is on the Family Search Wiki to explore. And so there's online resources, there's resources by location, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and talks about the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, the Jewish calendar, the Islamic calendar, the Indian calendar, the Chinese calendar. And so it's showing you um, different calendar systems that were being used at the same time, depending on what part of the world that you were in. But of interest to us, I clicked on the top, genealogical feast days. And so this one, the feast days, because I have a lot of British and colonial America research that I do. And the churches, so not just those, but the churches in the different countries would have feast days. So a lot of things were around those feast days. They were scheduled around those feast days, and certain things happened on those feast days, and they would be very similar being with the church, but then they would be translated into how those were celebrated in different countries. And so knowing those feast days and then looking for the customs in your country to how they celebrated them is an interesting aspect. And this is also in the paleography course where they talk about feast days because it's mentioned in the records. And there's certain things that you could and couldn't do on feast days. For instance, you couldn't get married during Lent. And then I just found out recently, I was listening to a webinar on German traditions, and you couldn't get married in the 12 days before Christmas. I didn't know that. And so a lot of times you would see that they got married on Christmas Day. I thought, why are all these people getting married on Christmas Day? It's because they were in a period they couldn't get married, and Christmas Day was the first day they could get married after that. And so they got married. And also, it may be that that's the day that the minister was in their area, if it was a traveling minister, and so they would just do everything at the same time. And so looking into why things happen the way they did may explain why things happened on the date that they did. And so this one, genealogical feast day calendars. So it's going to give you information. And what I found interesting about this is they had all of this little chart where you could look up dates to see what was happening at the time. And so I'm looking at this. So I'm right now doing colonial American research, and I thought about the Mayflower. And so I did 1630 to 1637. I clicked on it because this is what would be in practice during the time that the Mayflower were the uh, Puritans and Pilgrims were coming on the Mayflower, the passengers, and so this would be the feast day calendar that was being followed at that time, probably in the Catholic Church more. But it was interesting to look, and then you could see what dates those feast days were happening in that time period. And so I thought that was quite interesting and maybe useful in your research. And so check out pages like this that are going to give you information to help you in your research. Okay, so then, along with the feast days, there was another link that was on Latin genealogy, and it talked about the days of the week and where what the Latin names were. And if you're going through church registers and you're looking for things, it's going to come up with Anno Domini is the year of our Lord. It's going to have Latin terms that are used in the records. That these are really neat little charts in order to interpret what that means. And so this is such a good research page, and it just goes on and on with all of the different words, even the Latin word for gypsy. Look at that. And so it just has lots of vocabulary that we need to know if we're dealing with Latin in records. And so this was on the Family Search Wiki page that was Latin genealogical word lists. And so that was also one you want to keep in mind when you're dealing with calendars. Okay, so since I have a lot of English, British research, I pulled up a page on England church records. And part of that is understanding about their records. And so if you scroll down, it talks about the different kinds of records. But if you keep going down, the to hear calendar changes. It talks about the calendar changes and why they did that and the double dating, which is in their church records. And so it's going to explain how that was used and how it affected them and how they recorded their records in their churches, in their church registers. Okay, you can also search this is just an example of a state library that talks about, and this is the Connecticut State Library. So if you're doing Connecticut research and you want to find out specifically how the calendar change in 1752 affected the people of Connecticut, it's going to give you just a little summary of what happened, why it changed, how it was implemented in that state or in that province or in that area. And so checking libraries, academic libraries, state libraries, they will tell you about the different records that you may be dealing with. And so that's another place to look for things. Then I found on YouTube, if you don't want to do a lot of reading and you like to listen to an explanation, you can listen to Krista Cowan from Ancestry. And this is one that I found a video, and you just would go on YouTube. It's Ancestry. It's double dating Julian or Gregorian calendar, and it's a YouTube video that is just 11 and a half minutes. And that will give you a good explanation for that when you're looking for records, especially on Ancestry. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to mention about calendars to watch out for is in some you'll see that instead of writing the year, they'll write that it was in the year of when the monarch was there. And so you have to know then what years he was ruling. And so, George the Third or Charles the Second. Okay, it's in the fifth year of his reign. Okay, what year is that? And so by having a chart, and this is again, it's on Wikipedia. It's the regnal years of the English and British monarchs. But if you're in a different country, if it's Spain or it's France or another place with another monarch, you would want to look up for that country. But in these ones, it just gives all of the different monarchs when they ruled, what the dates are, how many years they ruled. So if it was the seventh year of the reign of Richard II, then I could figure out what year it was when I'm reading that record. Now, I don't have any research that goes back that far, and so it would be more likely that it's going to be in the Georges or later. Okay, so it's just, again, it's another resource to understand the records that you're looking at. And then it goes into the Latin names as well, because if it's in the Catholic Church records, it's going to be written in Latin. And so you're going to want to know what their Latin names was. And so did you know that James in Latin is Jacobi? And so you would want to know that. And so you won't find James, you'll find it in Latin, Jacobi. Okay, and the numbers. And so all of those are in Latin. So again, Latin is something that you're going to see come up over and over. And that's why we developed the Latin course and the Latin textbook. And so it's really something that is going to be used to you. And so just read through and find out about the records that you're looking at so that you can understand why they were written, how they were written, and then how that can give you information and clues to find more records and know what to look for. And so that is another page. So you can search within Wikipedia, you can search within Family Search, and just put in calendar, put in the location that you're looking for, the aspect that you're looking for, and it will help you to find those things. Okay, I'm going to go back to my slides. Okay, and so that is just a little bit about calendars in the paleography course. We have the uh, sessions every 2 months. And so this is December. There'll be another one in February where we will look at another aspect of the paleography course. And this is just a page of the links for the International Institute of Genealogical Studies for our website, where you can find our information about our certificates and courses, the genealogystore.com, our blog, Facebook, X or Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. Our Instagram account is really growing, and our YouTube channel. Some of these recordings from our sessions with the students are on our YouTube channel. And if you are watching from YouTube, welcome. Hope that you will like and subscribe our video and watch for more videos. We usually have a few every month, sometimes every week. And so watch for those. Also, check out the genealogysocial.com. It used to be Genealogy Wise, but we've revamped that page and we are doing a lot more on there and have lots of plans for 2026 coming up on genealogysocial.com. So if you're not on there, you want to go and join up. And they have groups on there on topics, on surnames, and if you don't see one, start your own. And it's just a place to join, and it's just genealogy. And there's a blog on there as well. Okay, so that is our paleography meeting for December, and this has been the from the International Institute of Genealogical Studies, found at genealogicalstudies.com. I hope that I've given you some places to look and to really dig into what do those dates mean and find out more information. And so thank you for joining me. And it is December, so happy holidays.